Hey there, everybody. All right, so it's October 4th. My last video, which is currently updating right now, it's uploading onto YouTube. I specified that I was going to do a little bit of gardening today. I have a, what do you call this thing, a rosemary bush that I need to get transplanted. It's been inside this pot here, gosh, for probably about 6 months. And as you can see, it's starting to dry up and die. So I want to try to bring this thing back to life again. I'm going to try to replant it because you can see I've got my root ball that it's above the ground, so of the soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant that thing. Oh, look at that beautiful mum. Oh, God, that's gorgeous. Oh, look at that mum there. Oh, that is a beautiful mum. And then I've got my little lemon bush over there. So, oh, that's a beautiful mum. I love mums. I don't know, something, it is just, to me, it screams fall. I love mums. So what we're going to do is we're going to transplant this rosemary bush, and I've got my jugs of water here. We're going to transplant this rosemary bush, rosemary bush. I'm going to go right in this little rock formation. So as you can see, I've got some wildflowers that are inside here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this area out, de-weed it, get all the crap out of it. Yeah, some beautiful flowers in this thing. I planted these in the spring. It was just wild seed. I just threw on top of the soil just to see what was going to happen. It was leftover seed that I have. But it's got this little rock formation sitting here right below my flagpole. You know, good old Semper Fi, Marine Corps, hoorah. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this area up right here. And I'm going to take that rosemary and we're going to plant it right here in the center. So hopefully this thing will flourish and grow. I've got a rain spout right there that will run off. And that's what this has been doing. So, this has been doing so well. 4 months ago, this was just dirt. So, and just throwing some seed down, plus with the rain we've had with the rain spout, it just comes over here and just waters it, just natural rain. So let me get my tools together, and then we're going to go ahead and clean this out, and then we're going to plant that rosemary. Now, I'm not going to bore you with me picking weeds out of the ground, so you'll come back when this is cleaned. Okay. So I went ahead and I got it shoveled. That's what it looks like. Yeah. I know what you're all saying. You missed some. I see some weeds sitting inside there. You got to pluck all those out so your rosemary can grow properly. And believe me, I'm all cleaned out. So right now I'm going to do a little weed eat around it because the grass is growing up a little higher. My zero turn doesn't get this close to rock. So, even though it seems like I can pick up every other rock in the entire property, but it doesn't like to get close to rock formations. I don't know, go figure. But anyways, so I'm going to get a little weed eating going, and then we're going to proceed with planting this rosemary in the ground. So, hey, let's do it. Let's do some weed eating. Okay, so now that I got the weed eating done all the way around it, it doesn't look too bad. You know, I'll touch it up and do it better later. You can see, it don't look too bad. And it's a lot lower than it was. At least I can see the rocks now. So I'm going to redo these rocks too. So, oops, stay with me. Wild ride here. It's like being at Disneyland. You know, I'm going to redo some of these rocks into the formation. And I might add some more rocks to it, but this is where I'm going to put that rosemary bush. I think it's going to do very well. I got good sunlight coming in, you know, and it's got nice water. It's easy for me to water. I mean, I go up on the front porch and I water everything up on the front porch too. You know, we were decorating for the holidays, for Thanksgiving and whatever. So anyways, off track. So yeah, so my rosemary is going to go right here, you know, and then if I want to add some I don't know, some other plants or something around it, I can do that. I think originally the past owner made this into like a fountain. You know, it's the only reason why I can think that he'd have that type of a rock formation right there. This was a kind of a fountain, but you know, I'm going to use it as a planter box for my rosemary. I think it's going to be a good spot for it. So anyhow, yeah, let's get into cleaning all this up, and then we're going to proceed with getting this plant inside the ground. I've got pretty much everything here. That box of kitty litter, it's not kitty litter. I've got, I think it's Miracle Grow soil in there. It's organic, composite. It's got I think it's no bark, something like that. So I'm going to use that as my topsoil going around my rosemary, and hopefully it'll give it enough nutrition that this thing will flourish and pretty much just come back to life again, because I mean, it's looking pretty sad. So anyway, let's get all this cleaned up. Okay, so I got this thing here pretty much clean. I took out a lot more of the weeds that are inside there, shoveled out some of that crappy dirt that was on the top. Was it good? I don't know. It could have been. I don't know. But like I said, I've got some good organic topsoil right there with no bark in it, and I think this is good enough right now until I can get my my Milwaukee blower out here and blow off the rest of the grass and the leaves and such. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get prepped, and we're gonna dig a hole, and we're gonna get our rosemary inside the ground. So stay tuned, and we're gonna have a little bit more fun. Okay, so here we go. Trixie, I don't need you inside the garden. Go on, get out. Come on, get out of the way, bloodhound. Out of the way, girl. I don't need your help with this. Okay, so I'm not going to do a ginormous hole. I mean, it does have a big root ball to it, but maybe I should get the shovel out here. Oh, it's got some good compost. I wonder if they use this. Oh, some worms. Oh, that's some good stuff. Oh, that'll really help the soil. I'll keep my chickens out of it. So you know what? I'm gonna get the big shovel over here, and let's get this hole dug. I got a rock. That's one thing about this place. There's rock everywhere. That's all right. The more rock I take out of the ground, well, the less I have to deal with later in the future. get around the other side. What do you think? I am by no means, I claim to be a gardener. I am not a landscaper. I am not a gardener. My garden did not so well this year. But I try. I bet you if I got a post hole digger in here, probably have a nice hole. But I got some rocks down in here. Let me get rid of some of that rock. Got another big one right there. Alright, I think I'm pretty good because now I'm coming down to nothing but rock. I got little rocks like that all through here. So, I'm going to call that good. And let's get this plant in the ground. Okay, so I've got my topsoil here. I'm going to put a little bit down inside my hole. This has got good nutrients for the plant. Maybe it'll help the roots. Again, this is Miracle Grow. Miracle Grow Organic Garden Soil Peat Free. This is made for raised garden beds, but I mean I don't have any raised. I mean, it'll work just the same down here in this hole. Let's get that all mixed up. Got some good nutrients in there. Let's get rid of that root. There we go. Yeah, should do it. And then I'll bury it on top. I'll put another layer here on top of it once I get done. So here's my rosemary, and the root ball happens to be sitting right on top. I think it's just bound up. So I think if I could just separate all this, oh yeah, get that root ball mixed up in there. Yeah, boy, look at that. Oh, this baby's gonna flourish. Oh, we're gonna do just like that. Perfect. And then I'm gonna get it all mixed in on top. Let's add some water to this. Let's get a good start. The ground is just gonna absorb it, so I've got more water here. Perfect, look at that. All right, now we're gonna add a little bit more of this compost dirt right around this. I wanna kind of hide the root ball that was sitting, oh, there's a nice worm, that was sitting on the top of this pot. Plastic sheeting, get rid of that. It was exposed, and I don't know if the sun, if it dries it out. I mean, I water this plant. Gosh, it's a rosemary. I probably do it maybe every third day. I'll go drench it. Oh, look at that. That thing. Gosh, I hope this thing takes off. You know, I need to get some of these dead branches to come back alive. Maybe it'll have some new growth on it, you know, and just get bigger. My other house I have in Arizona, I had 2 big rosemary plants in the backyard. Now I gotta tell you, if my rosemary in Arizona can grow with that heat, then this should do fairly well with the humidity that we have here and the moisture that we get here every year. So I'm hoping this does very well. But I think he might have used this as a composting spot because there's a lot of compost in here, and there's plastic like it's he wants to prevent from weeds growing, and he didn't really do that good of a job having the weed barrier. And still had weeds. All right, so let's get some more of this Miracle Grow on here. We'll get another drenching of water. Gosh, and I hope in a couple of weeks I want to see this thing expand in size. That'd be great. This stuff, the soil that I'm using is actually pretty good. Again, I use this in my garden. I think that if we wouldn't have had so much rainfall this year, my garden would have done a lot better than it did. But literally, my garden drowned. And I was very disappointed because I grew everything from seed. I started off with seed, and I was a little disappointed that it didn't do what I wanted to do. I mean, I got some tomatoes out of it. My pumpkins didn't grow. My zucchinis didn't grow. I got a couple jalapenos out of my plants. They did okay. But yeah, here comes my baby. Victor, what are you doing out of your pasture, buddy? What are you doing out of the pasture, big boy? Huh? You just coming to say hello? You're not eating my plant. I'm sorry. All right, stay tuned. I'm going to pause right here. I got to go put him away before he eats my plant. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, man. Sorry about that. That's my baby. That's one of my bucks. I've raised him since he was 3 days old. I bottle fed him 4 bottles a day for 3 months. You know, he just literally acts like one of my kids, and he really is. I mean, that's one of my babies. Get out of there! Get out of the garden. Get, Hank, get out, out. So, anyways, yeah, I had to put him back because I know he's sitting here and he'll tear this Rosemary up. But yeah, that's one of my babies, and he's the only one of my goats that gets out of the pasture. He doesn't go anywhere. He just wants to be near where I'm at. So if I'm gardening, he wants to be where I'm gardening. I think he wants to eat the plants, but yeah, he's a good boy though. He's about, I don't know, about 8 months old. 9 months old? 8 months old? I think he's like 8 months old. So yeah, he's a good boy. But anyhow, I've got this rosemary in the ground. I got my topsoil up on it. You know, what we're going to do is we're going to spread this up around a little bit better. Get out of their leaf. And hopefully I can get this thing here to grow. Now the biggest trick is keeping my chickens out of it. If I can keep the chickens out, that'd be a winner chicken dinner. Literally, if they come mess with my garden. But I think if I raise this up and put some more stone around here, raise this thing up, let this grow, then the chickens will stay out of here. I'll be able to keep the goats out of here as long as I'm not next to it. He won't come over here and try to eat it. But there we go. We got my rosemary in the ground. I'm super happy and excited, and hopefully it does well. If it doesn't, I think I kept it inside this pot a little bit too long, and it didn't have a chance to really expand its roots and grow. So yeah, hopefully this does a lot better for it. And if not, I'll just go grab another rosemary and I'll start over, but maybe I'll start over a little bit sooner. You know, I did see a bunch of earthworms in here, so that's really good for the soil. I'll give this thing a nice good drink. And yeah, we'll let this thing grow, and I'll keep everybody informed on other videos on how my rosemary's doing. And then yeah, I think it's going to be just fine now. I got this thing in the ground. Water in here. Really give this sucker a drink. This ground was dry, as you can tell by me shoveling. I'll save a little bit of this water for my basil plant. So yeah, so there we go. We've got the rosemary inside the ground, and you know, it should do well, and hopefully it'll regrow, and I'll be able to use some sprigs of rosemary when I cook dinner. All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you watching me watching the plants grow, literally. But yeah, I'm gonna probably do some more gardening later this week. I got some more plants I want to put inside the ground, transplant. I have an idea I'd like to put in. I'm thinking about planting a gardenia tree. Gardenia tree. I have a tree back here next to the house that earlier this year I pushed over because it was dead, and I didn't want to take a chance in a big windstorm and have it fall on the house. It was probably a good, I don't know, 25, 30 foot tall tree. It was an oak, and it was dead. So we pushed it. My neighbor brought over his bulldozer and we pushed it out of the ground. I still have the stump sitting in the ground, even though it's detached. I have it just sitting filling up a hole. So I need to get that out, and I'm thinking about putting my gardenia tree right there in that exact same spot. It should do fairly well. I know people that plant magnolias. Magnolias and gardenias are in the same family, I think. I could be wrong, but I know if magnolias can do well here, I think that maybe the gardenia plant will do just well too. So we'll give it a try and see what happens. My daughter also wants me to plant a willow tree or two, so that's going to go over here in the front so we can sit on the front porch and we can watch the willow tree grow. over time. So that'd be exciting. So everybody, thank you for joining me on my gardening adventure. And again, I hope you like this video and subscribe. And then we're going to do a lot more adventures here on my 15-acre homestead in Southwest Missouri. Take care, everybody. Bye.